On December 20, 1989, just before Christmas, Americans awoke to the news that the United States military had launched Operation Just Cause, a massive invasion of Panama. Unlike Grenada, Panama was no tiny island, it was the critical link between two oceans, home to the strategic Panama Canal. And at the center of it all stood one man who had pushed the US too far, General Manuel Noriega. For years, Noriega had been both an ally and a problem for Washington. He worked with US intelligence during the Cold War but also ran a brutal dictatorship at home. He was accused of drug trafficking, money laundering, election fraud, and silencing opponents through violence. By the late 1980s, his corruption had spiraled out of control, and he had become a liability. When Noriega declared himself the maximum leader of Panama and began openly defying US influence, Washington decided he had to go. The final straw came when a US Marine was killed at a Panamanian roadblock, and other Americans were threatened. President George H.W. Bush addressed the nation, saying the invasion's goals were to protect American lives, defend democracy, restore the canal's integrity, and bring Noriega to justice for drug crimes. It was one of the largest and fastest US military operations since Vietnam. In the early hours, US troops descended on Panama City with overwhelming force, paratroopers, tanks, helicopters, and special operations units. The fighting was intense in some areas, especially against Noriega's loyal Panamanian defense forces. Civilians were caught in the crossfire, and tragic casualties occurred. But within just days, US forces had secured the country. Noriega fled, hiding inside the Vatican's diplomatic mission. In one of the strangest moments in US military history, American forces blasted rock music, especially songs by Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, outside the compound to pressure him out. Finally, after 10 tense days, Noriega surrendered and was flown to the United States, where he faced trial and was convicted on drug charges. For US audiences, the invasion was both dramatic and heart-stirring. The sight of American troops toppling a ruthless dictator and freeing Panama resonated deeply. Families of US soldiers who returned home embraced them as heroes. The operation also restored a sense of American strength, showing that the US could act quickly, decisively, and successfully, especially in contrast to the long struggles of Vietnam. But there was also controversy. Civilian casualties in Panama raised moral questions, and critics accused the US of using overwhelming force for political motives. Still, for many Americans, the dominant memory was clear: a dangerous dictator was removed, justice was served, and democracy was restored in a place vital to US interests. The invasion of Panama remains unforgettable because it captured both the chaos of modern military intervention and the relief of seeing a powerful criminal finally face justice. It was not just about strategy, it was about values, pride, and the belief that the US could once again stand tall in the world.